Hello, this is Roland. Welcome. Today I want to continue with part 3 of my series called Common Sense Christianity. And I've already said that meditation is important. It helps you to separate from thoughts and emotions so you can observe them. Okay? There they are. All you have to do is observe them instead of being lost in them and pulled into them. See, the emotions are your attachment to the world. Okay? Christ told us to be in the world, but not of the world. Okay? There's a way of living and moving and having your being where you can be a mom and dad or brother, sister, worker, neighbor. You can do all the things, go to work and raise a family and have recreation and exercise and everything. But just not so emotionally close. See, emotions, many of you could sense when you were a little child that emotions were kind of a sticky, gooey kind of a thing. And you sometimes would run. Maybe you had an aunt that always wanted to kiss you or something, and you ran away, okay? Because you sensed there was something a little bit yucky about too much emotions, okay? But what has happened is that as the years went by, you became emotionalized, okay? Because people would play upon your emotions to get you to feel sorry for them or something like that. And they would also say things that would hurt your ego. See, they were like attacks on you, calling you stupid and dumb and lazy and not nice like your sister and not helpful like your brother and not smart like the kid down the street or not pretty like this other lady. Or see, there's so many of them, often coming from your own family. Even your parents, see, including challenges. You got to do more, you got to be more, you got to study more, you got to get better grades. Always as if you weren't good enough somehow. You had to always do more and more and more. And then they played on your emotions. Well, I just feel so bad. I've done everything I can for you, and you're disappointing me. And there's just so many tricks that can be played. But as you became emotional, what happened was your body learned to react emotionally to people, their words, see, their gestures, their expressions. And then before long, your body was reacting emotionally to everything. You could almost say that an allergy or an asthma, you could almost say that those are emotional responses to some outside thing, like a pollen or cat dander or something. See how they're you almost cry, your eyes tear and your nose runs, and see, as if you were crying. You could make the case that those are like emotional responses. But you see how they're dysfunctional. People with asthma, people with allergies, see, it's dysfunctional. And then the other thing is that you begin to lose yourself. See, you begin to lose yourself as the outside begins to pour in through those emotions, begins to affect you. Before long, you don't even know who you are anymore. See, you become a member of a group or a gang or the peer group or something. So you take your identity from the outside. See, and the other thing, the proof that something is wrong, that you're losing your identity through all of these emotions and attachments and so on, is that your identity comes from outside. See, you're a member of the school, see, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your gang or your group. See, you're somehow attached to something on the outside, to some rock star or some type of music or some type of dance. See, you get your identity from something, and then people, when they get older, then they go to work, then they get their identity from their work. See, when you ask them who they are, well, all they can tell you is that, well, I'm an accountant, or I'm... See what I mean? So we get our identity from the outside. Now, and so when your identity comes from the outside, then you become totally dependent on that outside. And without that outside, see, where you get your identity and with which you identify, then you don't even know who you are. But you see, ideally, not even ideally, naturally, our identity should come from our Creator. You see, He's our closest relative. It says in the Bible that we were created in the image and likeness of God. Okay? So, ultimately, if we find Him, if we begin to journey back to Him, like the salmon swimming upstream to its spawning grounds, if you begin to journey back to the beginning, back to your true identity, back to innocence, back to who you really are, then it's actually, you're actually returning to Him to discover that He is your Father. See, the other thing I wanted to say is that in the beginning, when you begin meditating, with my meditation, for example, you have a sense that something's not quite right about your life and something is missing, and you do yearn for you're willing to know the truth. See, you know you've messed up, and you know you are continuing to mess up, and you don't want to mess up, but you've tried everything and you're still messing up. See, well, so you're searching. So that's that kind of an attitude that will get you started. But in the beginning, you don't know. See, you may suspect, but you don't know for sure that what you're really searching for is your Father that you've never known. See, but you don't know that. You don't say, "Well, I'm looking for God, maybe," or something like that. All you know is that you want to come clean. You want to admit some things, and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're tired of hating, other people, and you're tired of messing up and being impatient with your kids and saying the wrong thing and being selfish and all these things. But you see, you can't change yourself. So that's what you know, and you know that you love truth. Deep down in your heart, you love the truth, and you want to know the truth. Okay? Well, but then as you begin this journey through the meditation, it's very simple. Just learning to stand back from thoughts and emotions. That begins the process of discovering, what your real identity is, and your Heavenly Father. Eventually, you'll see that that's who it is. See, just like a little baby, the little baby cries, and then mommy comes and helps the little baby. And the little baby doesn't yet know who mom is or dad. Doesn't know. Just knows that he cries, he has a need, and somebody's helping. Somehow he's being helped. Well, it'll be the same thing when you begin this journey. You have a need, a sincere need, and you'll start to be helped. Okay? And with time, you'll discover who is helping you. Okay? But now, on the other hand, if a person continues on the downward slide, being angry and resentful and greedy or ambitious, hateful, judgmental, judging other people, and so on, continues on that, then there's something that helps you there too, helps you to become more prideful and stay prideful, and gives you ideas about how to overcome other people and put them down, or seduce them or trick them. It gives you wrong ideas. And it may lead you into tragedy immediately, or it may lead you temporarily into success. You discover, it helps you to seduce people, and to trick people, and to charm people, and so on. And you don't know who it is. But later you'll see who it is. It's the bad guy. It's the guy with the horns. Okay? Well, anyway, so getting back to the identity thing. Your identity should come from the Heavenly Father. Now, your earthly father is supposed to represent the Heavenly Father. That's what his job is. Most fathers don't do a very good job of it. They do a lousy job, okay? But that's what he's supposed to do. And ideally, and I say ideally because it's not that way with most kids, although with some it is, they respect the good in their father, and they love the good that they see in the father. They love that good, they respect that good. that honor, that calmness, that courage, that conviction, standing for something, standing for what's right, see? And loving that is very close to loving God. It's very close. So by loving the good in the earthly father, when that child grows up, then one day he can transfer his allegiance to the good that he sees in the Father, to the Heavenly Father, you see. But what happens to most of us is that our earthly father fails us, wasn't there for us. Maybe he had moments where there was some good in him, you could see the good, but then he failed. The world was too much for him. Something was too much for him. Your mom was too much for him, or the temptations in the world were too much for him, or work was too much, or something was too much. So he didn't make it. And you resented him for that, because you knew that somehow it was through him, see, that you would be led, that you should be led toward closer to your ultimate ground of good, which is your Heavenly Father. Okay? Now, so like I said, in the beginning, you won't know that it's God that you're looking for, necessarily. You may, but you may not. You may not. You may have absolutely no idea about religion whatsoever, or about God or anything. All you know is that you love what's truth. You have a keen sense of justice. And once in a while you want to stand up for what's right. Usually you don't do it quite right. You get angry, but nevertheless you have a sense of justice. See, and you love children maybe. Okay, you love innocence. Okay, you like to protect innocence. And you want to be, you don't want to be a corrupt person. You want to discover the truth and find a true purpose in life. Something like that. It may be vague. It's unstated. It's hard to put words on it. There's some kind of a yearning for good. See, and you looked everywhere in the world. But see, you tried to find it in the world. Remember, I said how people ultimately they start to get their identity from the world, which is not good. Their team, their school, their group, their music, their peers. See, they get their identity from their pet, from other things. See, that's why they become so unstable, because their identity should come from within. Okay, but like I was saying, you went out in the world and maybe you tried all kinds of things, all different religions and philosophies and groups and self-help groups and experts and book readers and seminars, and you tried everything. You see, and some things were close. They talked about truth and about things like that, and you kind of liked it, but then you always saw that they hadn't totally found it. Okay? So you kept searching, and then eventually you find. And I say that the meditation is just a little tool that helps you to find, because it helps you to stand back from those thoughts and emotions. See, thoughts can trick you and mislead you, as you know. And emotions can mislead you too. You want something too much, and you think, this is it, this is it. Your emotions say that to you, and then you buy it, and then you find out you spent too much money for it, and it wasn't what you really thought it was going to be. See what I mean? Emotions can mislead you. So, you have to learn to stand back from them and observe them. See, instead of falling into them. Okay? So, we've been talking today about identity. Now, another example of someone who really didn't know anything about anything. He didn't know about God or anything. You know who? It's going to surprise you when I tell you. Moses. See? He didn't know from religion. All he knew is that he had a conviction. He loved what was right. He didn't like injustice. And one time he saw a soldier Egyptian soldier that was beating up one of the Israelite people. And it made him angry. You remember the story. He had a sense of outrage over the injustice. Well, then he went off to the desert and he became a sheep herder for 40 years. He didn't know nothing about, excuse my language, he didn't know from religion, okay? All he knew is that, see, he was following sort of a conviction. Something in his heart was leading him to what's right, to what's good, to what's true, to what's just, see? But he didn't know what. And it wasn't until he was 80 years old that God was ready to use him. okay, when he was 80 years old. Okay, so you see? All right. So, why not get started? And a good way to start, see, that's another nice thing about the meditation. I never, hardly ever talk about this, is that it gives you, see, it's something that's good. It's not harmful. See, if it doesn't work for you, it does. It doesn't work for everybody. Some people aren't ready. They're not quite ready for the truth. See, they're still pining for the world. They still want something from the world, or they're not ready to give something up. They're not ready to give up some goal. They're not ready to give up anger or judgment towards someone, or they're just not ready. See? But you got to be careful, because sometimes there's a voice that talks to you in your mind. You think it's you, but it's not you. It's the agency that opposes your coming to God. See, it opposes that. It doesn't like that. It doesn't like it doesn't like the idea of meditating. It doesn't like anything like that. It wants you to just keep on the way you are, and so it'll tell you all kinds of things. Roland is no good. The meditation is no good. You don't need meditation. You're not ready yet. Don't try it. It's not worth anything. Something terrible will happen if you try the meditation. See, it's all this kind of stuff. Well, you just have to see that that's not your friend, and these empty, useless scare tactics, see, through your imagination. So you have to learn to doubt these doubt thoughts. Doubt the doubt thoughts. Okay, just let them pass, dismiss them, and then proceed. Okay. So, like I was going to say, though, the meditation is something you can actually do. It's so simple and it's free, but it's something you can do. You can begin the day with it, first thing in the morning, and then midday for 5 minutes, in the evening for 5 minutes, and at other times during the day, if you have a minute or two, you can practice it. It gets you centered, okay? Gets you out of being lost in thinking, back in the present moment, which is good, okay? And it gets you a little closer to God, which is really good, okay? So, I'm going to make an end to this little video here, and yes, and don't forget there are 2 previous ones in this series. I call it Common Sense Christianity. The first one was about getting started on the spiritual walk. The second one was about emotions, how to naturally control your emotions. And this one is about, what was this one about? Your true identity, okay? And the benefits of meditation, okay? My name is Roland.